Welcome back for today's MLB pick video play, where we're going to be talking about the wild card game in the National League between the Colorado Rockies and the Chicago Cubs. Two teams that went into yesterday tied atop their respective divisions, but coming up short. And now, as a result, they have to both play in this wild card contest to get into the next round of action. So the Colorado Rockies yesterday coming up short in Los Angeles, falling in that one by a final of 2-5. And Colorado, they had their own destiny in their hands in their final series against the Nationals. They needed to sweep that series. However, they just picked up 2 out of the 3 wins, and that was a really disappointing situation for the Rockies because the prior couple weeks to that, the Rockies had been playing such great ball. It seems like nobody could beat them. They had a ton of momentum going down that stretch run, but then coming into that series against the Dodgers, who have really been their kryptonite and the only team that's had a tremendous amount of success against Colorado over the last month of action. So perhaps with the Rockies going against a different opponent other than the Dodgers, they'll be able to replicate the kind of success we've seen from them against other teams in the National League. Colorado having themselves a tremendous year. No one was expecting this group to go on to win the NL West. They competed right to the end with the Dodgers, and it would be awesome to see them in the postseason, but you can also say that for the Cubs as well. It would be disappointing not to see Chicago make it to the next round. So Colorado today, they are going to be sending out Kyle Freeland, the 25-year-old lefty who's been outstanding. He's made 33 starts, sitting on a 2.85 ERA, a 1.25 whip, a 17-7 overall record. And if you're pitching for the Colorado Rockies with about half your starts at Coors Field, and you can have a sub-3 ERA with what Freeland has done this season, that is very noteworthy. And in his last outing, though, Freeland, he was roughed up a bit in terms of giving up a lot of hits, but he minimized the damage. He went 6 innings against the Nationals, giving up 11 hits, but just 2 earned runs, and then 1 walk to 4 strikeouts. Freeland, he's a guy that he'll give up hits, especially when he's pitching in Coors Field, but almost always he's able to minimize damage that is done to him. But today, going against one of the more dangerous offensive opponents in the National League, we'll see if those hits catch up to him and if he's giving up runs here today against the Cubs. Now, the Chicago Cubs, they had a better overall regular season than the Rockies in terms of the numbers they've put up and in terms of their overall record. As a result, they get this wild card game at home. The Cubs, they have to be disappointed. They were also in a situation where if they would have swept through their final series at home against the Cardinals, they would have won the division outright. They weren't able to do that. They won 2 out of the 3 contests, which forced the contest against the Brewers yesterday, where Chicago came up short on their home field by a final of 1-3. And the weather in October isn't quite as favorable for offensive baseball, which is part of the reason why the total for this one is sitting at about 7.5 runs. Also, in terms of the starting pitching matchup, when you have Freeland on the mound for the Rockies and then the Cubs, they're going to be sending out Jon Lester, the 34-year-old lefty who's also had a very strong year, 32 starts, a 3.32 ERA, a 1.31 whip. Lester's been a bit up and down over his last 6 starts, though. He's generally been able to get fairly deep into these outings, but if we look at the runs he's given up over his last starts, it's just been very up and down. Just going through it, 0 runs, 3, 0, 3, 0, and 3. So for whatever reason, it seems like every other start he gives up a decent amount of runs, and then every following start he shuts the door on his opponents. In his last start, he shut the door, so we'll see if that door opens up for the Rockies in this one. Can't wait to see how this one plays out. It should be high drama situation in Chicago with both of these teams playing for their playoff lives. It would be great if we could see them both in the next round. That's not going to be the case. Only one of these teams is going to make it through, and I'm having a hard time picking, at least in terms of on the money line, because Colorado, like I said, every other team other than the Dodgers, they've had a lot of success against over the last month. Also, Chicago, they've had better numbers than the Rockies this year, and they get this one on their home field, which should help them. But I'm going to be giving our play on where we see the better value on the over-under. 7.5 runs, given it's a solid pitching matchup here, and the fact that the weather isn't likely to be the perfect situation for hitters. With all that being the case, we're going to take a slight confidence play here on the under 7.5 runs as the better value bet. If you agree, give the video a thumbs up. Disagree, give it a thumbs down. Check out all of our picks over at stumpthespread.com. Link down in the video description. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we hope to see you guys back here for future MLB playoff videos.